under pressure. Government is bombarding them, and according to what you say, they are saying that it looks like they're under attack, so maybe they're acquiring weapons to protect themselves. But then again, if the pressure is that much, why don't they renounce banditry? And are they also considering the lives of those that they are also taking, and the lives of people that they are also making unlivable?
Okay, you see, if they leave banditry, they will have source of financing their war machine.
Did you hear that? If they renounce banditry, they will not have money to finance their war machine. What war? And this war, who asked for it? And what is the purpose? What do they want? Do you understand that? In a country that you have to listen and be nodding your head, where a terrorist is talking about the dash, then he mentioned, if they are doing all of this because government is bombarding them, why don't they renounce? Renounce banditry. Go back to wherever you come from. And then just leave everybody alone. Then Gumi responded, if they abandon kidnapping, if they don't do banditry, how do you think they will finance their war machine? There you have it. And when they were asking the Minister of Information in Nigeria, he said kidnapping, banditry, they are not national crime. I don't know what is national crime. I don't know what is not national crime. But do you know what this Gumi has turned to? Families of the school children they kidnapped and they have kept in captivity. They are releasing them in batches, in trickles. A child was rescued or was paid for yesterday. 20 million naira the family paid. And they said they can't talk about, the government can't trace that money. All the phone calls they were making and all of that stuff, they couldn't trace all of that. There's no plan to rescue them. Just pay them money because the bandits need money from kidnapping to finance their war machine. War over what? Uthman Danfodio war. We are all infidels. Maiyegun, don't talk like that. You cannot let small terrorists to make you think that Muslims are bad. Did I say Muslims are bad? Did I? Is that what your brain is telling you? Do you see where you have been missing it? This terrorist says they are continuing with the jihad of Uthman Danfodio. And we have seen people they have killed, beheaded. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. And they say they want to, even you, Adeyemi Abdulkadiri, Omo Chief Imam, Omo Alaja, you were born and raised a Muslim, so you feel insulted because somebody said somebody is bringing jihad, is bringing Sharia, and is calling Allah Akbar. He is going to kill you anyway. You know why? What is Adeyemi doing in Abdulkadiri when you are supposed to be Muhammad Abdulkadiri, Salisu, Suleiman, and all of that kind of a thing? Even with that, they still have to question if you are actually a genuine one, or maybe you have done something. They don't. If they are not sure, they will still kill you. Why do you feel offended? How does that make Muslims bad? What actually make Muslims bad is that all of you think defending Islam when they mention terrorists is your own way of your own, what do you call it? Being faithful or defending Islam. Let me tell you something. Any religion, we all agree on that anyway. Any religion, any God, that tells you to kill anybody for him. I don't care how strong that your faith is. Any God that tells you that if anybody offend it, that God, or if anybody offend that your God, you have to go and kill the person. That's not God. Come on. That is not God. And I don't care what they have told you, but you can't make that make sense to me. Oh, you insulted this person, you are supposed to be stoned to death. How does that make any sense? You cannot insult this and that, blood of this and that will strike you. Holy Ghost, this and that. What is wrong with you? That is where you are mixing it up. And that is why when you defend terrorists or you defend criminals, because they are, and look around you. All the criminals around you, your politicians, they are either Muslims or they are Christians. But you and I know that majority of them are ritualists, cultists, killers. But if they want you to feel emotional about them, then they will play you the card of I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim, or it's because I believe in Uthman Dan Fodio. Yet, even though you believe in those two, you are still being killed. So how does that then make you angry? Maiyegun, I want you to watch what you say. Religion divide. If religion divide you, go to hell. Don't make it so special. That's what I'm saying. That talking about those whose activities affect the lives of millions, and what you pick from it is, I don't know, you don't like the North, or you hate Islam, or you hate because you say you don't have religion. Are you mad? Go to hell. Come on, sharp. Buy one ticket and go to hell. You know why? You are just an apologist to them. Don't use that religion to blackmail people by stopping them from saying what you actually know, but you don't like how they say it because it offends you. It makes you feel like, oh, the Muslims are bad. How does that make Muslims bad? You make them bad. By standing up for terrorists and trying to teleguide us how we should say it so that you can feel good, feel important. Maiyegun, have been following you for years. Maiyegun, I respect you a lot. You see, I want you to not, just avoid any really. Are you mad? Like, generally, you ask, people will tell you. Maiyegun will ask you, you dement? You like me? And you are offended. I'm talking about terrorists who are using that same your religion, right? Instead of you to join me before they pick you up, and they will use you as an example to those who are like you, deceived for too long, not seeing that, yes, it's not about the religion, but to them, it is about that religion. It is not what you call it. It is what they call it. So who gives a damn about you following me for 5 years? Maiyegun, I'm offended. If not because people are telling me that their children also sit down beside them to watch Maiyegun. Ask those who know who. You can like me in the morning, and the following, by the afternoon, you will dislike me. And maybe towards evening, when your brain come back to normal, you will reason again. That's those who stayed with Maiyegun. And it's for one thing. It is for you to think beyond your stupid mind that religion has done to you. So don't bring it on us. Don't don't. The actions of these criminals are killing people. You are not safe. Nobody is. No one is. They don't even ask if you are a Muslim or a Christian. When they pick you up for ransom, then think about that and tell me what in hell you're feeling offended about what I say changes. Come on, get used to it. They asked these women, these are the women whose children were picked up. kidnapped, the trauma, all of that. And they said, go and meet national negotiator for terrorists. Go and meet national negotiator for terrorists. Go and meet this and that. And in the process, they've turned it to business. I want to talk about that, and you want to feel offended. Come on. If you want us to do fundraising for you to buy your one-way ticket to hell, tell me. I'll ask my friends who buy you one-way ticket to hell. A terrorist is being given airtime in Nigeria, and the TV station giving him that airtime, using that their platform to tell millions of Nigerians that they are wrong to think this terrorist don't mean well. They are using their platform, radio Hausa, radio Fufude, radio AIT, TV AIT, everywhere. They are using their platform, spending a lot of money. Yet the victims continue to be victimized. Imagine somebody who just won't take you to go and meet Sheikh Gumi, just connection to meet Gumi, so that Gumi can help you talk to his own brothers in the forest to release your children that you sent to school. And that person that will go and talk to Gumi just for transportation, 800,000 fiam. This is a big industry right now in northern Nigeria, and everybody is cashing on it. And all you can feel like is that, Maiyegun, I really felt offended about that your last broadcast. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Take it. And you don't want me to say Sheikh Gumi is a Muslim, Abi? Oh, that's fair now. He is not a Muslim because what? What makes him not a Muslim? Does Sheikh Gumi being the national negotiator for bandits and terrorists, does that now make you a bandit or make you a terrorist? What makes you a terrorist is that when you begin to defend Sheikh Gumi, simply because Sheikh Gumi is a Muslim, is a sheikh, is a this and that, with all other nonsense they have fed you with, then you become an apologist, right? It means that if you have the opportunity, you too, you go carry your own AK-47 and start shouting Allahu Akbar, fighting your own jihad. Yes, you will do it. That you haven't done it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Go to hell. Sharp. 800,000 naira to go and see Sheikh Gumi. Sheikh Gumi be what? Saguru Maraji. Even to see Saguru Maraji in Ibadan, you probably 100 naira recharge card. Somebody will tell you and take you to Sheikh Maraji in Ibadan. 800,000 victims that are supposed to be protected by government. They are being milked by the system that should protect them. And they are there.
And I just they do meeting, they do committee meeting, then carry us to Gumi's house and we do meeting. Say we could meet Ahmed, I forgot the name. They invite one fee that they come and we gather money, almost 800,000. We give her. He said that one is a transport motor. And I started crying. He said, me, I'm the wisdom. I don't have husbands. I just train this boy to help me tomorrow. Please, he said that one no concern. Who will be the person? The person is a Fulani. They invite him to come for one office for Kaduna Day. We just try the beggar. He said no. He said until you pay so amount. He said we don't have much. He said almost 500 million.
Initially, they asked, they were after the government paying that money, 500 million. So anytime they call, like me in particular, they kept calling me, Madam, Kijeki Magana the government, that I should go and talk to the government so that they will go and pay that money. So all I kept telling them was, I am a widow. I cannot have access to the government. Maybe if my husband were to be alive, maybe you know somebody who will help him to talk to the government. But I am a widow. I cannot have access to the government. So when they kept calling me for almost 2 weeks, I kept telling them the same thing. So at the end, they started calling that, okay, how much have you people gathered? I said, how much? Who are the people you are talking about? They said, the parents. I said, no. We are poor people. Most of us are widows, and even those that have their husbands and those that even have their wives, they cannot. They are petty. They they are peasants. So they don't have any money to contribute. So it's
Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú Ẹ̀sùnràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní Ẹ̀sùnràkì. Maiyegun ti dé.
And when they asked Laya Muhammad about this, and he was actually responding to, it's heartbreaking. It's sad that we even have to be talking about this. This is what it is. Talking about what should be done, what is not done, and yet every day, what is left undone, deliberately continue to kill people, and more, those who are supposed to be alive. Those who are alive are living in fear, right? Those who are not in captivities. And it can be you tomorrow. It can be anybody tomorrow, you. And the sad thing is that was Kaduna. Same thing is happening in Yoruba land. Same thing is happening in Igbo land as we speak right now. It is war that they are using the kidnapping money to fund. They are collecting huge money. Guys, daily, billions and billions of your naira is ending up in the hands of terrorists. Even the 2021 newly printed money, they found that at the kidnappers' den. So it can be you tomorrow. We may begin. I posted a picture of a journalist that was kidnapped in Delta State, somewhere or thereabout. Those who kidnapped him, they are now asking for 100 million, or they will kill him. His journalist friend now shared a picture, the attached bank account underneath it. I shared that picture on my personal page, Padre Olusola, on Facebook. My friends were saying, "Hey, have they hacked Maiyegun's diary again? Hey, it's like they have hacked Maiyegun. Is Maiyegun trying to?" You know what I mean? I was like, look at what they have turned all of you into. Look at what they have turned people into. Guess what? That is the reality now. Some of you are going to do posters. Maybe do it for some member of your family, your friend, kidnapped, and you'll be talking to terrorists. We have evidence. We have people who are already victims. This is not a make-up story. People are already victims in Yoruba land. There are victims who have paid ransoms. There are victims who have been killed. As recent as last month, April. So what are you talking about? So you will just sit down there. A call will come. They want to take 100 million. And you'll be asking yourself, even if you sell the entire family, put all of us together for slave trade, tell them, say we have 21 strong men, and they are between the ages of 15 and 25. They are able to work very well. They can last long and all of that stuff. They cannot pay 100 million for our family. You know it. I know it. If anybody pick anybody from my family and they ask for 100 million, I don't even know what to do. Maybe we just use some of it to hire a private investigator that will do a better job than the Nigerian police. And just take your risk. Like, what would you do? Where would I see 100 million? If anybody asks me for 10 million now, ask me for 10 million right now. Where would I see it? Break a bank. Sell myself. And I'm not even living in Nigeria. Now consider yourself living in Nigeria and a member of your family is picked up today. What will you do? You will turn to where? You go to Redeem Church. They kidnap 18 members of Redeem Church. They are pastors. They are on a mission for God. In Kaduna, they pick them up, 18. Now beg and money they pay to release them. So who are you? Son of God. So you now, okay, if they kidnap you, or because you know that if they kidnap you, you can't see 10 million, you can't see 20 million. Nobody's going to rate. They will just have to just kill you. Abi? Now you are a child of God. Abi? Meanwhile, the people that are supposed to really protect you, the criminals, are aiding and abetting the terrorists. So where will you turn to? Because it's going to happen. The question is when? And I live with that every day. That is what sensible people, people who can think beyond where is the next Amala going to come from. And as we speak today, you see all this death, kidnap, and all of that. Yes, people know about it. Some people are more worried than where the next Amala is going to come from, where their next apple is going to come from, and it's going to get draw soup with vegetable and the rest of all the orishi. Even if you don't go get to orishi, maybe they just mix igu and ogbono, swallow. They are thinking about that because Nigeria has made them to get to that stage. And those who are in that category are in the majority. Tell them about Boko Haram and they say, Boko Haram know they kidnap people like us. Because they don't know. They don't know. You don't know. Oh, they don't touch people like us. Now, rich people that they... Do you see that ignorance there? Then when people who came out of the dungeon of the kidnappers, when they come and they'll say, oh boy, I saw so many people there. It's like their families have abandoned them. Like, if you won't kill them, kill them. Even 100,000, we know if you pay. There's nothing. Just please, for the sake of God. As Fulani, as mad as Fulanis are, they are not those Fulani terrorists, they are not supposed to be touching Nigeria money. That should be haram, Nigeria money, anything money, haram. Because that money is printed by infidels. But they are collecting it in millions and millions, forwarding it to their own, whoever are those sponsoring them, ferrying the money to them, and those ones are supplying them weapons regularly. And who are those who are supposed to prevent infiltration of firearm? Your government. When they are the ones, sharing the weapons, how can you ask a cat to protect your, your fried meat? Are you not stupid? Is that not stupidity? What kind of faith? Which kind of faith? Which kind of faith will make you? I don't know about a cat for UK, for America, for Canada. I don't know. I don't even think they eat fried meat. Okay? But in Nigeria, you have musu at home. And you carry the musu, go kitchen. You put the meat beside the musu. And you are saying you have faith. You have very strong faith. It will not touch it. Test me, try me. Which kind of faith? What kind of... You have terrorists in government, terrorist sympathizers that will do everything to shield terrorists. And because they are doing that, more and more areas have now fallen into the hands of these jihadist terrorists, right? Because you allow terrorists to decide and protect you. Then they turn around. It's escalated everywhere now. Everywhere. And they call us infidel. Every time I remember that, I'm always like... Imagine somebody capture me now on my way from Odogbolu to Djibouti. They told me that they killed 2 people in Okonwa in Odogbolu local government area yesterday. 2 people, 2 farmers killed by Fulani terrorists. In Djibouti, all those areas have already been overrun by these guys. It's just an order, one single order. Everybody go start running. No joke. That's so close to home. And they asked, imagine, somebody now picked me now. I'm traveling from Odogbolu to Djibouti. I just came back. Okay, let's go to Djibouti. I want to go and see Italapo. Or I want to go and see this. You know what I'm talking about? And then on our wave, zoom. Somebody picked me and say, are you... I don't even know if this is right. Okay, but I'm trying to make sense out of the infidel, right? Imagine somebody now pick me and say, are you fidel or infidel? What am I going to answer? Am I not going to say, I don't know? What's the meaning of infidel? Aram, you, Yamutu, Kajiko Yamutu. Kilam. Imagine somebody just decide your fate like that. And there you are, between life and death. You can't decide, you can't do anything, you can't change anything. Then you'll be waiting for miracle, right? Why would you want to be subjected to that is the question. Why should I want to live and keep quiet to live through that? They asked this liar Muhammad. He said it's not a federal crime.
The PDP alleged that kidnappers and bandits are not being brought to justice. This is appropriately aimed at the federal government. It is shocking that the party that ruled this nation for all of 16 years does not know that press conference. The PDP alleged that kidnappers and bandits are not being brought to justice. This is appropriately aimed at the federal government. It is shocking that the party that ruled this nation for all of 16 years does not know that kidnapping and banditry are not federal offenses. The PDP should therefore call out the states, including those being controlled by it, to ensure the rigorous prosecution of arrested kidnappers and bandits. Meanwhile, PDP completely forgot that as far as tourism, a federal offense is concerned, this federal government has successfully prosecuted thousands of Boko Haram members engaging as part of a continuous. We are now seeking the cooperation of the judiciary to continue with the trial of arrested terrorists. Gentlemen, we acknowledge the challenges we face as a nation, and we are doing everything possible to tackle them. We call on all Nigerians to support the efforts of the federal government to tackle these challenges. We advise those bent on playing cheap politics with challenges to have anything. This is no time for politics. I thank you for your.
I'm very sorry if it's so upsetting to listen to that rubbish. I just wanted to be on record that I said that it's not a federal crime. Kidnapping, banditry, the PDP should know that that's not a federal crime. After ruling Nigeria for 16 years, how could they not know that banditry, kidnapping is not a federal crime? That is your verdict. Yeah? Watch the second part of the deliberation on the killings in Nigeria. There is a part I wanted to listen to. It's a bit of a stretch. If you have the time, still watch this.
Slogans that the problems that were so obvious 10, 15 years ago will just suddenly go away, and nobody took proactive action. What got us here is inability to see from a national perspective that we were faced with a problem that was so deep, so obvious for those who cared to see. What got us here is the, as Congressman Wolf said a moment ago, is the Western press refusing to acknowledge that there are genocidal activities in Nigeria. The Western press refusing to acknowledge that there are even problems in Nigeria. What got us here is confused narrative. People saying everything else except addressing the real problem of how we got to where we are. What got us here is the opening up of Libya and the chasing away of ISIS from Europe and allowing them to come into Libya and down into Niger, down into Mali. What got us here is the refusal to acknowledge that spiritual issues, that there are religious roots for the problems that we have in Nigeria, that indeed Christians are being persecuted. Of course, Muslims are being killed as well. Moderate Muslims are being killed. Christians are being killed. We have failed to acknowledge that there is a religious issue that is involved in what is happening. So if we want to go to the bottom of why and how we got here, we must ask the leaders, the political leaders who have buried their heads in the sand and have refused to acknowledge for 10 years, and particularly in the last 5-6 years, that Nigeria is faced with an existential problem. We are faced with an existential problem. Only yesterday, the governor of Niger State, not Niger, the country, came out and said that Boko Haram have pitched a flag next door, 2 hours away from the Nigerian federal capital. The same yesterday, the Benue State governor buried 70 people that were killed by the Fulani headsmen. He said it was the Fulani headsmen. 2 days ago, the governor of, I think, Abia or Imo, Anambra, Enugu, had the same problem, burying people that had been killed by these hoodlums ravaging in every part of the country. Whether you go to the east, you go to the west, you go to the north, there are killings on a daily basis. Just before I came on air on this program, somebody sent me a note from Kaduna and said that what is going on is like something that was taken out of the movie. So we have a that is just setting itself up for an implosion. I hope we are not too late. We were told yesterday that the Secretary of State of the United States had a virtual meeting with the President of Nigeria. I hope he listened. I hope there were concrete issues discussed, because where we are now, a senator was weeping in the Federal House of National Assembly. A Nigerian senator was weeping, recounting the atrocities that have been committed all over Nigeria. There is no square mile of the nation that is spared right now. I don't know how we are getting on. I don't know how we have managed to keep going on now. But I hope that government and the decision makers to see that they have a role to play, because as Congressman Wu said a moment ago, where we are, it's a skyfall problem, by which I mean it's going to be everybody's problem. It's not going to be a Nigerian problem when it starts. It's going to be a West African problem. It's going to be an African problem. It's going to be a European problem, and it's going to be beyond that.
Well, thank you, Doctor. Next question to Congressman Smith. Congressman Smith, in addition to the humanitarian issue, what is the security implications of Nigeria, especially as it comes to global terrorism?
Thank you. First of all, I think everybody on this Zoom need to recognize that Congressman Frank Wolf, Chairman Wolf, wrote the law, the International Religious Freedom Act, which created countries of particular concern, the office, the ambassador at large, and USCIRF, which is the independent commission that provides incredible insights as to what is happening. And as you pointed out, they just came out with their report, and it is an indictment of what is happening in Nigeria today with the Islamic state in West Africa, the Boko Haram, the Fulani, all of whom and others who are not only killing, maiming, kidnapping, and beheading. There was a Christian from Cannes, and I know that organization very well. I've met with them many times in Nigeria. They took one of their leaders and beheaded him because he would not renounce his faith. It reminds me, getting to a moment ago when the doctor made a very important point about how did we get here. 10 years ago, I began holding hearings, and I've held 10 hearings on religious persecution and human rights in Nigeria over these years. Most recently was just in December as co-chair of the Lantos Commission. And the Assistant Secretary, Johnny Carson, Frank, actually said, this is Assistant Secretary for African Affairs under the Obama administration, that Boko Haram was just trying to embarrass Goodluck Jonathan by blowing up bridges, by doing the mayhem that they were doing, rather than to recognize the radical Islamic beliefs that they hold, that they believe they can kill, and they're doing it in the name of God. They do it against Muslims, as we all know. Pious Muslims have been, I remember going to Jos and meeting with Archbishop Kegama, visiting churches, all of which have been firebombed. Then I met with the Islamic leadership in Jos, and they had nothing but respect for the Christians and vice versa. And they said they're targeting us too. These radicals are targeting us and killing us and forcing some to become radical against their will. So, you know, there's even one of the men I met in an IDP camp, Habila Adamu. I was so impressed with his story. I brought him to the United States. He gave testimony and he said, Boko Haram broke into my home, dragged me out, put an AK-47 to my head and said, you convert or we blow your brains out. Well, he said, I'm ready to meet my God. They pulled the trigger, disfigured his face very significantly, but he survived. And when he came and testified, he said, you've got to realize this is not about economics. This is all about radical jihadist beliefs. So the impact, not just for Nigeria, which is the most populous state or country in, it's often been said, as goes Nigeria, so goes the rest of Africa. You know, this gives aid and comfort to the other jihadists throughout Africa. And of course, they're expanding. And the Fulani cut not just in Nigeria, but they're found in many other places. And this foolishness of suggesting that this is a fight between herdsmen and farmers, no, this is a fight of radical jihadism. And finally, just let me say, Buhari has not performed well. Finally, Nigeria was designated a CPC country, again, pursuant to your historic law, as you know, Chairman Wolf. And I'm not sure the Secretary of State brought that up in his call. There was nothing in the readout of that call with Buhari. So I'm very concerned that they will not look to renew it. And I think they need to be looking to use the sanctions embedded in your law, Frank, 12.5 very important sanctions to hold individuals to account. Because if we just turn the page and say it's getting better and put a false facade on it, shame on us when so many people are being killed and maimed. So it could unsettle, as was indicated, you know, the fragility of that country, which is very real, and they could further plunder into a Darfur. It was one of the commissioners, Gary Bauer, said more Christians have been killed in the last year in Nigeria than all of the Middle East. I mean, this.
It's a very, very long conversation. I'm glad that if you think exposing what is going on in Nigeria, right, is not working, then probably you are not thinking, or probably you choose not to think, right? The world is watching, and the effort is to make sure that we get as many people indicted for human rights abuses, for genocide in Nigeria, and they don't go scot-free. They will be picked up. And that's exactly what effort of so many people all over the world are working on. Sanctions against these criminals and the culpability, you know, continuous proof of the culpability of the government of Nigeria in this whole ongoing genocide of the by the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria. The world knows. So before they killed or kidnap our children, right? And then possibly forcefully radicalize them and turn them to destroyers, burners, bombers, killers. Isn't it better to quickly radicalize them now for Oduduwa Republic, for the freedom that is guaranteed? There is no longer guarantee in Nigeria. And we can prove this again and again and again. Some will tell you it hasn't gotten to that stage, but they are lying to you. They are only keeping you and leading you to slaughter. It can be you anytime. Anytime. And what would be your final say? What would be your final word when you find yourself trapped or caught up in what you have been told repeatedly, that waiting or believing those who told you to wait, Nigeria will do something? They're just telling you to wait, to be killed by the ravaging terrorists that promised to dip their Quran in the ocean of Lagos State. It wasn't actually sword that Sultan of Sokoto, Uthman Danfodio of Sokoto, It wasn't the sword that he promised to dip in the ocean in Lagos. It was actually the Quran. Whatever that means, it is not going to happen in my own lifetime. And I will do my best. So must you do our best to make sure that our children will not have to deal with this. If you have not been thinking about that, yes, you can die anytime. We can die anytime. But while we are living, let us live like those who are living. The idea of one Nigeria is a dead idea that if you believe in it, you are just buying your own time before you get slaughtered. It is not a good wish. It is not a wish. It is what will happen. And that is why radicalize your children. Radicalize them about the Oduduwa Republic. Tell them the quality, the culture, the value of being Yoruba, the pride, and everything that comes with being Omo Oduduwa or Omoluabi. Radicalize your children. Don't let these terrorists radicalize your children with religion. Don't let these freeloaders, these scavengers, these criminals, don't let them radicalize your children with religion. The myth that will make them less thinkers and more wishers. Those that will wish their problem away. Don't let your children be led by their gnosis that a spirit can fight for them when they have no idea how to defend themselves. Don't let them radicalize your children to turn to killers that will look at their own brothers and say, even though I know you are a Yoruba man, but you are an infidel. You don't belong to this society. Turn your children to radicals that will question you, kill you. Look at those who are killing people in northern Nigeria today. They can continue to sell us the lies of people from Chad, Niger, and all of that. Those they have managed to radicalize locally. Those children, those Alimajiri, abandoned children that nobody cares about, except during elections. They are falling into the hands of these terrorists day and night, day and night. Sheikh Gumi is a recruiter of terrorists right there in that country. He radicalizes people. And that kind of radical ideas is why when he speaks, you feel so upset, you feel so irritated, like what the hell is he talking about? Yes, you think he's alone. He has other thousands, if not millions, who are also believing in that same ideology. They radicalize people every day. And they use religion and Nigeria. They use the religion on one hand, and they use one Nigeria on the other hand. You'll be an idiot to think they mean the same one Nigeria, the one you have in mind. They call you infidel, unbelievers, unclean, unhealthy, people that should completely either be changed or killed if they won't change. That's what they see you as. But when it comes to political convenience, right? They will tell you that you are one Nigeria. You are the same. But look at their actions, not their words. And that's why radicalize your own children. So that, we won't have to be begging to raise 200, 500 million in order to free our own children that are going to be kidnapped in Yoruba land, in Igbo land, Biafra land. I know some of you feel like, hey, no, you better don't deceive yourself. Let's be grateful to the ESN. Are you going to deny other attacks as well? Are you going to deny the victims? Oh, Maiyegun, it has reduced. Continue to deceive yourself, okay? All right? And I'm not questioning that. Enjoy it. Right? The whole attack is going up everywhere. Civilians, we are counting bodies. People are being caught up in the crossfire. People are playing politics where they can. Others are resorting to God to help them. But you see, in that same Igbo land, we have our other comrades. I see Buhari differently.
Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, Buhari Gati, Buhari Gati, Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, Buhari Gati, Buhari Gati, Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, hey, Akantawa, Buhari Gati, Buhari Gati. Thank you.
I don't even know the meaning, but I know that popular Akanchawa. Hey, Akanchawa. Hey, Akanchawa. Buhari Gaji. Hey, Akanchawa. Sorry, if you feel offended, though. They always come with receipts. If I want to talk about Buhari, I'll bring you receipts. If I tell you that we have Ungoziari, Buhari Shukus, Nneka Harris, and the rest, we have them in different sizes and shapes, creed, ages, and all of that. So if you see people that will not vote for Biafra in a referendum, and some of you are saying, Maiyegun, forget it, you can say all you like. But they exist. And they exist everywhere. They do. It's unfortunate, but it is true. I would rather go on to this next. From this, another one, before I play one that, in fact, let me play that first. It's this video. Again, from Pastor... One moment, where is it? Good.
Now here's a troublemaker. I didn't know he was going to be in service. I haven't seen him for about 2 years. And he was standing in the line to testify. When he takes a microphone, anything can happen. But Naji, you have two minutes. 2 minutes. He's a lawyer and a very adept one. He's an activist and a man of many parts. Listen carefully.
Your pastor has been speaking about Nigeria for a while. A meeting took place in these premises some 2 years or so ago. And
Naji, you want to put me into trouble.
We've gone past that. I've been waiting on God for himself or any of the other people we went to tell what God was doing to solve these impossible problems.
Which problem?
The problem of Nigeria. The reason I came here today, I needed just 10 minutes with him to tell him what has happened beyond what I had heard, because sometime last week or so, overnight, I got more than 20 of the same video of him pronouncing the name of the sickness of Nigeria. He said it was the constitution and that we shouldn't, that Nigeria is a scam under that constitution and that we cannot get to another change of power, I mean election and people going to government house under that constitution. That video had traveled so much that the people who took 7 months to listen to us in the US in 2019, the decision makers of the United States of America, from Congress to State Department to the executive branch, across the two parties, they began to send that same video to me to say it appears the matter is now at a resolution. In 1 week, we are at Sunday today. Between the 28th of April and 30th of April, the world powers who have vested interest in Nigeria, the US, the UK, the European Union, came to the same decision concerning this country. The US was the first to tell the government in Abuja that these matters are so complicated, it's not something we can deal with from where we are. Go talk to your people. The next day, the UK said their partnership with Nigeria will not solve this one. Go talk to your people. Then the day after, European Union made it plain, said, this matter, move away from gun. Guns will not solve anything. Not your gun, not our gun. Go to dialogue with the owners of the land and rework the legal instruments. I tell you, the foundation of the problem has been removed. There's nothing anybody's going to do about it anymore. And I just came to church today. I had so many things to do, but I said, before I go to any part, anywhere else, let me come and tell this man of God that his courage in saying what he said, and if you know who else have been told the same thing in this land, but who have been paralyzed by fear from saying it, but it's been said, and by the grace of God, it's been done. That monster tormenting Nigeria is dead. I wanted to meet with him in private to tell him this. But when he was looking around for people who will come to say, this is the biggest thing God has done in the last 50 years, that we will live through this problem and it will not consume us.
Pause for a moment. On the Sunday that I preached a sermon in the Rooted in Christ series, at the end of the sermon, something came upon me to speak to the issues of Nigeria. And I had no idea that somebody not from House on the Rock would take a 7-minute, 15-second excerpt and that it would go virulent to the degree that it ended up in Whitehall, it ended up in Washington, D.C., ended up in places that I'm astonished by. I went about my business knowing nothing about how viral it would go. Monday morning, I came to get a workout at the gym here, and I got out of my workout and went to a consultation with the political desk from one of those big 5 nations he mentioned. And I spoke my heart as a stakeholder in Nigeria, whose parents for 2 generations have worked for this country, and this was not the Nigeria they dreamed of. And for one intervention to ruin our hopes was not acceptable to me. And I bore my heart out. I've learned diplomacy and how to talk to diplomats over the last 15 to 20 years of engaging with the Big 5. And when I was done in that meeting, I knew something had happened. I just could not put my finger on it. When I got home, I started getting calls about a video. And for the next 2 weeks, I was being called about this video. I'm still getting calls about the video. I didn't know, and my speech about the Constitution of Nigeria being a very flawed document, and maybe the best one since the First Republic would be the 63, but even 63, by me, is not acceptable. I would want to go all the way back to 1914, the amalgamation. Okay? And he had spoken to me years ago. It wasn't even in my mind. It was having studied a little bit about Nigeria. Where are our problems? Men swear oaths to be loyal to a constitution, and they do the exact opposite thing when they get into office. That is a lack of honor. We do not need dishonorable men leading any aspect of the 3 tiers of government or the 3 arms of government in Nigeria. And I saw him there. I said, it looks like him. He's a troublemaker. He's really a troublemaker. But he's given his life and his heart to ensure that the framework upon which Nigeria stands, or the peoples of this geography or contraption stand, is an authentic document of the sovereign conference of the sovereign owners of this geographic space. And that makes about, my last count was about 270 something different ethnic groups. And it must be dealt with. It cannot continue to be sold a scam and take it and then be enslaved by people who feel it's their birthright to own us and own our land and own our assets and our resources. It's not acceptable to me, and I do not believe I stand alone. I believe I speak with the voice that resonates for the majority of the people that call themselves Nigerian. I'm also sick and tired of holding a green passport that brings me so much stigma every time I travel to go and preach the gospel. I want a passport that gives me honor and dignity, that allows me to travel like the kings that we Nigerians ought to be. We're not slaves. We are better than that. We have resilience. We have intellectual power. Nigerians are not the problem. It is the political class.
I hope you heard that. And the key was too, going back to the 1914 amalgamation, not even the 1963 Republican Constitution, which gave every region the right to develop according to their own pace. That was the beginning, right? But that wasn't until this was like independence, right? Before that, amalgamation of forcing us together in 1914, people are now questioning it. It used the word contraption, geographical space, this contraption. He might actually be a regular viewer of Maiyegun's diary Politico as well. Who knows? A regular follower of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Who knows? Because those are the platforms where you get to hear about contraption. The zoo. He won't use the zoo. An open concentration camp. Everybody is tired. But some people are still living in denial. Fine. Give them time. Just give them time. There are those who are doing a lot of, you may not agree. It's not making much noise as you would love it to be. But don't think they are not. And don't think something won't give. There are people who believe this, who want this. They are doing everything to make it happen. I am one of them. And I know we are not alone. I would have taken calls tonight. Okay. So, but we are long gone into the night. But tomorrow we would have our phone-in session on Maiyegun's diary Politico. Keep all your contribution to. Okay, join me. I don't want to wake up tomorrow with the news that they have kidnapped school children in any part of Yoruba land. I don't think that's going to make me remain the same. And there are many people that will never remain the same. This trauma, this threat, this fear is real. If people are telling you to continue to live in denial of it, maybe they are just waiting for you to become a victim, or they are waiting for your children to fall victim, so that then you can begin to question God. God, Allah, why do you say for me? Allah, like you begin to question your God. That is what Nigeria does to you. It destroys you. It makes you question your existence, makes you question your ability, makes you think, are you not human enough? Why do you want to keep such country? Why do you want to exist in such place? It's a choice, though. But again, like I told you, elections have consequences. All right? So are decisions. Just know that when you decide to continue to live in denial, when you become a victim, that is the consequences of your living in denial. The choice is yours. I'm going to see you some other time. And to everyone who joined me tonight, thank you so much for your time. All right? You should have a good evening.
Maiyegun làwa ń wò. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Maiyegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé.